Hello everybody and welcome to your D2CL action tonight. I'm Durka here in the JD Studios and we're kicking off the playoffs with Empire against Power Rangers. Two teams that, they've battled it out many times before. Empire on a pretty good run this year though, with a pretty decent win rate, but we'll head straight into the draft, see what we're dealing with because that's already started, and I can also welcome in my co-commentator. Scant, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing okay, provided my power stays on long enough for the whole match. But I was really hoping that the cast started just a little sooner because I was totally gonna predict the first pick Vengeful Spirit. If you actually look at both Empire and PR, this is the hero that both teams usually take as their first pick in every draft. And we saw in the lobby that Empire chose first pick rather than choosing sides. So to me, that was like a clear sign. They're gonna take the Venge. It's theirs this time, and Power Rangers not too happy about that because it's pretty much the hero they first pick every game when they can.
XSplit was having a little bit of issues with me, but it looks like it's fine now. Fiddling with buttons over on the side, but we're all good. So Empire against PR, yeah, like you're saying. Empire have the slight upper hand overall. I was just being given some stats. We've got Cart in stats today for us, giving me some little information on the side actually. Lots of Venge, lots of Troll, lots of Dazzle and Sniper picked up from these two teams. Actually, they average 1.59 kills per minute when they've played up against each other, and I've had the fortune of casting a couple of these games where they just battle out non-stop, diving towers and killing each other off non-stop during the games. Average match time is actually 34.5 minutes, so a reasonable amount of time for this patch. We have seen some longer games recently though, heading into 70-80 minutes. Things do get a little bit messy later on, but this draft, Empire ban out the Bat Rider and Sniper. Power Rangers ban out the Wisp and Troll. So there's no Sniper, no Troll, but what's interesting to me here is that Storm and Queen of Pain, we've been casting a lot of Chinese Dota together. Storm and Queen of Pain, they're like first pick, first ban material. There's the quad for Team Empire, but still, where's the Storm Spirit?
Yeah, hasn't come up yet, and I actually don't expect it to come up at this point. I know that EG is a team that likes to do the Queen of Pain and the Storm together. There are some teams that do it, but probably the Queen of Pain and the Shadow Fiend being one per side suggests that the Storm Spirit's going to just get ignored in this draft. It's not guaranteed, but it's most likely. And yeah, as you were saying before, this matchup historically is just like the epitome of CIS Dota. So we're probably going to see an action-packed game. We're probably going to see a lot of fighting from the start to the end. And maybe that's why Power Rangers start their draft with the Treant Protector, because it's a pretty good hero to have if the enemy team tries to force action and conflict early on in the game. You can often be punishing not just with the living armor, but with the leech seed as well. Something interesting, I'm not sure if you've watched or cast Empire recently, but Yoki's been their drafter for quite a while, and I see Resolution in the drafter slot. Do you think that's significant, or they could just be drafting as a team and it doesn't really matter?
Yeah, they've switched it up a little bit here and there. Maybe it's the fact that, they've pretty much just come back from MLG, a big tournament land win there for them, where Resolution, was there without Yoki. They didn't have their main draft. I don't know if they've switched it up a little bit. But when Yoki's been missing, Resolution has stepped up to the mark to be their sort of in-game leader and drafter, definitely. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. It's definitely possible they could even be boot camping and they're all huddled around one PC. But I don't think it's a big game-changing thing that Resolution is now their drafter in this game, because there's always going to be input from Yoki. There's always going to be, hey, pick me that Rubik offlane. We're dire side. Let's do it. And what interests me quite a lot is that when they do pick up these sort of fruity offlaners for Yoki, it's dire side. Offlane Pudge, Sand King, Rubik, it's always dire, and I've always had this, along with quite a lot of other people, this preconception that Radiant offlane, you've got a lot more leeway for unconventional picks. You've got a lot more leeway for people without escape mechanisms, without any way to pull across the camp and get up in the face of enemies like Axe, Beastmaster, things like that. But Yoki just does it on the dire side anyway. He doesn't care.
And Yoki just does whatever he wants. This guy, every day is inventing new meta stuff at the moment, and the Drow Ranger pickup suggesting that they're going to go that all-ranged lineup. I'm not sure if they'll get that one sort of pull together the draft hero for Yoki as a strength hero in that offlane. But definitely, this is setting up for exactly what we were discussing early on. A match that could just have a lot of action and then suddenly end. Because when you have a Drow involved, if the Drow's team's winning those fights, they're going to kill buildings really fast. If they're losing those fights, the Drow's going to become too glass cannon, too fragile. Same with the Queen of Pain, and the game could just go the other direction. So expecting to see quite a lot of explosive action actually in the early to mid game, and while there's the Broodmother, and a lot of space actually for Empire to react to this. So they've got 2 more picks. They could just go for, I mean, the Axis ban. They could go for the Darkseer. I think I've seen the Darkseer beating the Broodmother 2 or 3 times in the last week.
Yeah. There's also Tidehunter out there as well, but the problem is fitting it into Team Empire's draft. I'm just trying to remember a stat that Nahaz has brought up a couple of times. 5th pick Broodmother has somewhere in the region, I'm not going to be precise here, but somewhere in the region of 60% win rate as a 5th pick Brood, because it just hits you out of nowhere and does have the good potential to demolish your safe lane. But when it's picked anywhere else, it's below 50. It's like 44, something along those lines. It's quite a significant change. But Team Empire, they've got 2 picks here to really try and deal with the Broodmother, pick up something along the lines. Bristleback, even, is a hero that we've seen just sit on that lane, deal with the Broodmother. Maybe he loses his tier 1. But he's still able to farm through the Spiderlings and contest that lane while the rest of his team goes and fights. And with the Drow strat, you really do need a frontline sort of tanky hero to initiate, to get in there and soak up a lot of the damage from heroes like Lion and Shadow Fiend to keep Drow Rangers safe in the back, in the shadows, because paired up with the other blue-skinned ladies, I was actually looking over to the side. Who else there is? There's like Phantom Lancer, PA, that are the blue-skinned heroes out there. But I don't think they'll continue with that theme. They've got to switch things up now. Pick up a tanky hero here. Maybe I was thinking maybe Power Rangers goes for something like a Clockwork to deal with that Drow Ranger. But now, maybe a Spectre in the safe lane. Broodmother off lane, Shadow Fiend mid. Have a Spectre safe lane because you need a hero that can jump on the Drow. If she's sitting at the back, just pumping out damage, but more importantly, keeping that aura going for the rest of her team, things can be pretty rough in these team fights. If they're pushing into a tower, like you mentioned earlier, it's difficult to defend if you don't have someone who can jump over a couple of heroes from Empire who are sitting on the front lines and into their back lines where Drow and Vengeful Spirit will be standing.
I think this 4th pick Broodmother, although we usually see it more successful in the 5th pick slot, there was a game we cast where Vici Gaming did the 4th pick Broodmother and did really well as a result. And I think what it is recognizing that the enemy team is very likely to ban Brood as their last ban. You're not going to get it as your 5th pick, but I mean, look at how long Empire's taken to respond to this, and they had to make a big decision about are they going to pick a hero to handle it or not. They've gone for Undying. I don't think that's a direct response to Brood, is it?
What?
Is the Tombstone meant to interact favorably with the Spiderlings?
I have no idea, but I'm wondering now if they run dual lanes with the Queen of Pain and they pick up something else from mid, because we've seen some funky things come out of certain teams. We've seen a lot of a couple of Chinese teams running Phoenix and Axe or Phoenix and Tidehunter off lane. I definitely remember. I'm pretty sure it was basically unknown. The European team run Undying Queen of Pain before, where basically you just zone someone out with the Undying. The supports can't harass Quop. Quop is then in kind of a 1 versus 1 situation with a safe laner. And it's a similar kind of thing with dual lanes with Phoenix or Zeus. Southeast Asian teams have run Zeus Axe in the past, where the Zeus just sits there. He basically acts as like an anti-Skyrath or an anti-Lion, and zones out the support that's meant to be zoning his off-laner, while the offlaner gets an easy ride through and can demolish the safe lane farmer. So I'm wondering if that's the route they go. There's still a possibility of things like aggro tri-lane from Empire. They haven't really shown their hand too early on. Queen of Pain and Drow Ranger can fit into a multitude of roles, and I don't know, this last ban for Power Rangers, I think it's impossible to guess where Team Empire are going with this.
I still think they probably ban out something that's going to deal with the Broodmother, because there's a good chance Empire might still want one hero to just face off against the Brood all game. Out of interest, the MLG's Grand Finals actually saw Empire running the off-lane dual lane of Queen of Pain and Undying.
Oh.
Of course, they had Fnatic playing Queen of Pain there, but the game 3 of the Grand Finals, the last one that they had to win the match, they did the Queen of Pain Undying off-lane.
The one game I don't watch. I had to go to sleep. I couldn't catch that. So they have actually run it before. Nahaz is in the chat, and yep, Brood has a 65% win rate when 5th picked, and under 50% when drafted in other positions. So yeah, I wasn't too far off.
Yeah, it's definitely a more effective pick as a 5th pick. But like I said, the reason it's being 4th picked in this situation is that it's unlikely they would have been able to guess it as a 5th pick. And so far, we haven't even seen Empire react to it directly. I don't think the Undying pick is a direct reaction to the Broodmother. But we're going to see a last hero now for Power Rangers, which is almost certainly going to be their safe lane farmer, unless they're doing some weird shenanigans with the Treants. No, yeah, it's going to be the Phantom Lancer. And now Empire have an interesting situation because usually you want some AoE to handle Broodmother and to handle Phantom Lancer. They've got the Queen of Pain ulti, but beyond that, not really that much AoE.
Yeah, so Team Empire now, they've got 3 ranged heroes so far. Undying can be that brawling hero on the front lines to deal with the aggression, but I still don't know. What do you do with this Broodmother? We've seen sometimes Queen of Pain being put up there to try and handle that early on. Give her a Sentry and an Observer Ward. Spam out some abilities, but there we go. Sand King. One hero that we kind of didn't really touch on. That can definitely deal with Broodmother. Caustic Finale. Rips through those Spiderlings, you know, pretty damn well.
Yeah, so Sand King's going to match up really nicely 1v1 against the Broodmother. He's also going to provide the extra AoE and the extra Disable and Initiation to handle heroes like Phantom Lancer, even Shadow Fiend. So I think it fits very, very nicely. It's actually, I guess, kind of bad that we didn't think of it. But I want to see now if they run those dual lanes. Because they could probably just put Resolution mid on the Drow Ranger, put Sand King and Vengeful Spirits against the Brood. They'll definitely beat the Brood easily and do the Queen of Pain Undying offlane that we were discussing before.
Well, we'll see how things pan out. Silent has picked up the co-op. Yoki on his pretty famous Sand King. The offlane Sand King with Tranquil Boots, Soul Ring running around. How do you feel about that item build? Because across the board, we've seen it started off with, you know, a lot of offlaners, then switched to supports, and now we're seeing, you know, a ton of heroes go for that sort of mobile, free fountain kind of build, where you don't have to go back to base to regen. You've got permanent mana boost and a little bit of health regen as well.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty solid build, and it's becoming more and more popular, as you say. In fact, we're seeing less and less arcane boots being picked up as a result. Unless supports need to buy arcane boots for their allies as well, they're preferring to go for Tranquils and Soul Ring a lot of the time. And as you said, yeah, offlaners too. So the laning situation from Empire is interesting here because they're all heading to enemy jungle. It's going to be 4v4 in Power Rangers jungle. We're not really sure where they're going to leave the lanes.
No, definitely safeguarding their pull spot. They don't want any shenanigans going over there. Early observer placed. Watch out the rune spot resolution. No frost arrows just yet. Not leveling anything up. He does want to save and wait and see. Because Aura level 1 is going to be so potent with heroes like Queen of Pain on the spot lane. Just able to zone out D2CL PL if that's the route they go for. Cheshire Cat Broodmother is heading up to top though.
Yeah, this is why the scouting's so important, because we've seen so many of these mind games with Broodmother. They kind of like switch lanes, go here, go there. So Empire needed to find out exactly where the Brood is before they set up their own lanes.
Well, Akashi Sajuro, he is Sunlight, if I remember correctly, a pretty old school Russian player that has come here to play with Power Rangers, who have had a multitude of stand-ins recently. You know, they lost Soneko and Shachlo. Shachlo's come back and joined them occasionally to stand in for them. But right now they've got King R playing for them. They've done reasonably well. They did drop out of the Gigabyte Challenge recently, though, to a Kazakhstani team called Kazaki or something like that. But apart from that, they've had some pretty solid results. But these lanes, what are we looking at? Broodmother top, Cheshire Cat going 1 versus 2 against Always Want to Fly on the Vengeful Spirit. And yep, Yoki, Sand King up on this top lane. Middle resolution is the Drow Ranger up against Sunlight, Shadow Fiend, and bot lane. Defensive tri lane. J4 Treant, he's probably going to be running around trying to stack, pull, control the jungle a little bit. But this dire sentry is going to be really difficult to find. You know, there's a whole bunch of spots. That one is probably the most difficult to reach because you've got to cut through trees, and it's the last place you check. Like right now, you see the pings happening. It's like check here, check there. It's over here, dude. You gotta cut through the trees here, but they're not going to find it just yet. Ditch around the Phantom Lancer against Silence, Queen of Pain, and Aloha Dance on the Undying. Last hero, last but not least, King R, playing that lion down on the spot lane.
Yeah, and I think that's just immediately looking at the lane setup. There's a high chance that Empire is going to get more value out of the lane stage. I think their aggressive dual lane will be just fine 2v3ing. I don't think they're going to suffer too much. And their safe dual lane is going to do extremely well against the offlane Broodmother. So unless the Shadow Fiend completely dominates the Drow Ranger, we probably see Empire getting an early advantage in the lanes.
The sentry's still not being scouted out. They've got no idea where it is. Really well placed there from Empire, but Ditchira on his bot lane. Last hit wise, he's struggling a little bit. The Decay plus Shadow Strike, look at that. He does manage to doppelganger dodge it, so he won't take the full brunt of the harass. Cheshire Cat up on top lane, dealing with sentries already. Always Want to Fly, getting up in his face. And Yoki, what's he build? Level 1 in Burrow Strike, holding on to level 2. Maybe he doesn't go for Caustic Finale. You know, I did kind of point that out as being a very good ability against the Spiderlings, but Sandstorm is equally as good. If you get that up to, you know, level 2, level 3, you can start demolishing entire waves of the little Spiderlings without having to waste any HP regen.
And always want to fly. Was hoping to get, I think, an Invis or Haste so he could set up a gank on mid. He found the bounty rune instead, so he's going to head straight back up to that safe lane. I think Sand King's just going to dominate Broodmother on his own, so that's why I always want to fly is thinking, you know, if I could go for a gang somewhere, that would be really nice. And right now, I suppose they could probably actually just force the kill here. He's got some dust on him. In fact, Broodmother's going to be in trouble pretty soon.
Yeah, I'll just keep watching down the bot lane. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now. D2CL dodging through that Shadow Strike with his doppelganger. He's timing it pretty well. Silent not getting the chance to harass him out. So I wonder now if Empire think, okay, we're shutting down the PL pretty damn well. I was going to say reasonably, but it's pretty amazing. He's got 3 last hits. Do we start looking for kills on the Lion? Because Lion and Treant, they don't have that escape mechanism. They can't dodge the Shadow Strike. And now it's leveled up to 1, maybe when Silent hits level 4. When he's got level 2 in Scream, that's when he can start looking to apply the pressure top. Yoki, he's got the Boros Strike, so he should be fine, just to wander his way back to his tower.
Yeah, I think that it might be a little greedy for Empire to go for kills in the aggressive dual lane. When you have an aggressive dual lane with 2 against 3 heroes, and you're doing so well, Queen of Pain actually has the most CS in the whole map. Phantom Lance has 3 creeps. Like, this is the worst thing that could happen to a safe tri lane. You're 3 against 2, and you're getting completely dominated.
Yeah. Well, J4 has had nothing to do. He has literally been standing here leeching experience because his camp has been blocked. The sentry does expire now, but that's a good 4 minutes. 4 minutes where Treant has basically done nothing but give a living armor to people. Lion, sure, he's been trying to zone out the Undying a little bit, throwing out a couple of hits here and there onto Silent, and they start things off with a Lance just to deter that Queen of Pain from launching another Shadow Strike his way.
Yeah, what is J4 meant to do though? Because he can't run in and get right-click harass all the time because the Undying and Queen of Pain's harass is going to be bigger. And he can't really go for a kill because there's no one they can kill from 4 HP. So inability to harass, inability to kill, puts them in a sticky situation where they have the numbers but they don't have the advantage.
Level 2 Caustic Finale with a sentry ward. It's going to clean up so many Spiderlings. No, just manages to take those 4 little babies away as Cheshire Cat. Oh, that's a Radiant Sentry now. My mistake. Do they have another one incoming? Yep. 2 fresh sentries. Always want to fly. Places 1 already. They'll go for the D ward. No, they're going for the kill. Stun. Not going to get launched out. As Yoki clears up the creep wave. And they've pulled through. Come on, kill the sentry. Kill the sentry.
I mean, they're not killing the Broodmother here, and he's getting some work done.
Oh, bot lane. Sans caught out, gets healed up though, and now the turnaround. Decay with a tombstone. D2CL held in place. King R dropping low as well. They're going to go in for a few more right clicks. Zombies doing so much as Drow Ranger is the one to die mid lane, but I'm going to keep watching down here. J4 does fall. Silent. D2CL has no mana left. A good double Earth Spike is Silent with 10 HP. That was a little bit too close for comfort, but first blood. With the level 3 raises, Sunlight in this mid lane on that Shadow Fiend manages to make it work. Top now, Cheshire Cat going for a kill. Always want to fly drops. The dust will launch as Yoki has Boros Strike in 3 seconds. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to go for it? He's killing off the Spiderlings, stuns them up and gets himself a whole bunch of gold. While who died again?
PL had to get denied to
Okay.
the Shadow Strike at the bot lane, so not giving away that gold or XP, but it's still a death. And yeah, quite rightly, I think Shadow Fiend versus Drow, this is the one lane that Power Rangers could be favored in. And SF doing well to take advantage of that, going ahead on CS and also getting that first blood. The Shadow Fiend's going to have to do a lot of work though, because the other 2 lanes, not really going too well for his team. I mean, look at the CS, look at the XP. Broodmother, Phantom Lance both want to be doing a lot better at this stage in the game. And I don't know if you're watching that fight early on in the bot lane, Queen of Pain blinks away, and then Undying just like sort of starts 1v3ing, makes a kill, doesn't even get scratched in the process.
Well, Power Rangers initiation was pretty much spot on perfect from the point I started watching from. It looked pretty damn good. They brought Silent very low, but Aloha Dance with the early value point in Riptide. Getting that, level 4, level 5. 2 in Tombstone, 2 in Decay, so he's got his full arsenal pretty much of spells as Cheshire Cat cleans up Yoki on top lane. Just missed out on that. But these lanes, which were going incredibly well for Empire, slowly crumbling, it seems.
Yeah, it's a pretty good kill for them to make actually, because Broodmother wants to be able to like get levels up, get a few key items up, and start dominating. And the Broodmother's probably going to be able to set up base camp here now, and anytime someone rotates in, possibly go for a kill. While it's 1v1, the Sand King will still be fine. But he now knows, Yoki knows, that if there's an enemy support missing, he needs to be a bit worried. And he's gone for that Ring of Health. I wonder if he'll even finish a Vanguard, actually, just so that he can solo against the Broodmother for the whole game.
Yeah, we've seen that from a bunch of heroes. We've seen, Centaurs go Vanguard before Blink, just to stay up there and deal with it.
They're going to go on Yoki again.
Oh man, yeah, Hex to start things off. Spawn Spiralings along with the Earth Spike. Yoki, can you get out? Looks like a Sandstorm, and he's got Burst Strike ready. Turns around. Epicenter is there, but he's not going to be able to get it off. The damage output from King R and the Spiralings. One more hit, Yoki drops. While the Broodmother scuttles away.
Yeah, possibly a greedy stun there from Yoki. I mean, really close. If anyone could have TP'd in, definitely they would have done some work there. And I think in the meantime we missed another kill on J4. So that's where the Vengeful Spirit had gone off to. That's why the Sand King was left alone. And there's gonna be a dive actually on D2CL now.
Yeah, watching it go ahead. Aloha Dance gets the decay down. Doppelganger not managing to dodge the scream though. Silent looking for an easy kill down with that Phantom Lancer. Aloha Dance limping himself away. He's got a heal in 20 seconds, but he'll want to head himself back to base, I think, here.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was saying that the Queen of Pain Undying was run by Empire in Game 3 of that MLG Grand Finals, but this actually resembles that game in a few ways. Like, the kill score is going even, but it's definitely Empire who's getting the better of the lane trades. It's only the Shadow Fiend who's got the kind of CS that he wants to have, and actually Empire going for a super early rush now with that DD rune on Drow Ranger.
Oh boy. Yeah, hero level wise as well. Shadow Fiend up with 9, Broodmother 8. The kills that they've got, the lane domination that they've sort of had or turned around. J4 walks into the pit, evaporates instantly! He wanted to scout out, but now with a wave of terror from Always Wanna Fly, they'll clean this up and there's no further contest. Like the train was contesting, he walked in, Yoki up at top, stunned up. Now King R has the Hex, does he? No, must have started with it, but with the dust they'll find him. Cheshire Cat, along with King R on that Lion. Yoki getting shot down a bit.
Yeah, so the Broodmother's actually probably going to start becoming a problem for Empire. And the question is going to be how they, I mean, if he's left alone, Sand King can probably handle him. Until such time as if he gets like a really fast Orchid, I guess he just solo kills the Sand King. But the question for me is, what do Empire do on the rest of the map while Broodmother's holding the Sand King down? Because he's going to hold him down.
Could PL get a kill here? He's got Lance in 3 seconds. The heal up from Aloha Dance. Doppelganger forward. He dodges through it. Aloha Dance still gets hit by that magical nuke. The illusions won't be enough to bring him down as D2CL walks back through the tombstone. And Yoki's hunting for him. He's hungry for blood, but I'm not sure if he's got the movement speed. Living Armor will secure the safety of that Phantom Lancer as he winds himself away. Smoke up here, though, from Sunlight and King R. Heading up towards this top lane. Go through the jungle. Try and find... Who is it? Silence up on top. With a Hex and a stun, should be relatively easy. These level 4 razors can just rip through that quad.
Yeah, and Silence actually went for early braces to try and like avoid those kind of bursty situations. And definitely aware of threats, yeah, and that's going to be scouted out by Always Wanna Fly. So now they know exactly what's going on here. I wonder if Empire plan to bring in more people to actually fight.
Well, Silent hiding in the trees. Net worth wise, Shadow Fiend up at the top of the board with 5,000. 4.5k on the Brood and the Sonic Wave. Doesn't kill them off, but with the Scream they will. Swap back, King R into the Tombstone. Magic Missile lands, but double raises. He'd not got a third one, and Finger of Death will finally kill Avenge. Lion trades his life, and there's no stuns now for the Shadow Fiend, who just TPs himself away. Oh man, Cheshire Cat has 3,200 gold. He hasn't bought anything since he got the Ring Basilius and Soul Ring.
Yeah, but we still got to remember that Phantom Lancer's got basically no gold at all. So it's gonna be interesting seeing, can the Broodmother and the Shadow Fiend make that space for the Phantom Lancer, because they very much need to. And I think that Empire are gonna hope to get at least 1, maybe 2 towers before such time as the PL is even recovered. Just using that Aegis, using that Drow Aura, and their ability to push together with the Undying as well, with the Tombstone.
I'm liking this mech pickup from the Shadow Fiend. Quite often we see CIS teams, I think Hellraisers in particular, but it's mainly a Chinese thing, where mech on Shadow Fiend is for, bot lane D2CL. It's fine. Yoki was the one to escape from that, but mech on SF, it usually indicates, okay, we're going to push into towers and really try and apply this pressure onto you as early as we can. But PR don't have the heroes for that. This mech is basically just to keep the Shadow Fiend alive. Blink stun from Yoki, the damage from Queen of Pain. He is a pretty easy target, and because he's sitting at the top of the net worth, he is the hero that's basically holding on to this game for PR. Broodmother, okay. Laning stage was good, but she's lost her tier 1, and she's not really a brawling hero. So she can't go and join fights with Sunlight here, who gets swapped back into the tower. Magic Missile. This is what I'm talking about. With the mech, he can heal himself up. Still walking through the tombstone. Damage output, though, from Empire. Just that little bit too strong.
Yeah, and a very big kill for Empire to make,
Now
as
bot
we were
lane.
discussing.
King O the Lion jumped on, screamed down. Yoki and Silent make the most of that bot lane. Phantom Lancer gets a bounty rune to fill his bottle up, but losing your Shadow Fiend there, he was pretty aggressive, going for the double raise and then back up on the creep wave. He wanted to try and push his wave into the tower and get a little more chip damage on it. He had no backup though. There is no one on PR that can really react to this, and that's kind of the point I was getting to. They've got no one apart from the SF that can actually go in and push towers, and then they've got no one who can TP in and react and counter initiate against the blink forward. You know, there's no Clockwork, there's no Sand King or Tide Hunter. They're going to have to rely relatively heavily on Treant getting level 6 and landing some big overgrowths here.
Yeah, it's... Oh, J4 actually scouts out the Queen of Pain and Sand King, and they don't know he's there. He's not level 6 though, not even level 5. But that's the thing. All the advantage Broodmother has doesn't help them take a fight. Broodmother's not a strong hero for going back and like winning the fight. Broodmother has to get value by pushing, and
Solo killing.
if Sand King can control Brood on his own, it's not going to be enough. Oh.
Cheshire Cat picks up the Orchid, but yeah, I agree. She's got to do a lot of work solo pushing and really forcing a hero to contest her. But with the Orchid, she can maybe look for solo kills now. Over in China, we see, Dagon E-Blade Resolution hexed up, stun. King O has Finger as well. That's an easy kill. Aegis Immortal will be expended. Oh, still Finger available. Time the Requiem, wind it up. Akashi, yeah, not quite perfect with a gust back. Resolution looks like he will drop to a couple more right clicks. The doppelganger forward will secure that, and Aloha Dance, who came in to save his teammate, gets ripped a new one. Zombies everywhere, though, is Silent. For some reason, goes in alone against 4. King O drop into the zombies. The Walking Dead taking them apart. Does get one kill. Silent, where did you head? Where did you blink to? Where did you go? Down onto the low ground. Always want to fly. Are you sure about this? Doppelganger in 2 seconds. They've got no stuns, so he TP's out. And they will be fine.
You know, a big sonic wave and scream with all the zombies up. Silent thought, okay, you can go in. But that mech, as you were describing before, like the Shadow Fiend's mech, completely turned that around and changed the situation, which might have been Silent killing all of them into him barely escaping with his life and Aloha Dance going down. They're gonna go for Cheshire Cat in this top lane. Do they have any reveal? Doesn't
look like it. Doesn't look like it. Maybe Yoki goes for the sneaky little stun into the fog. Actually, Silent goes for it. How did they? The Sentry Ward just spots him on the very, very edge. Observer Ward and Sentry to watch for the movement of the Broodmother there. They're very, very well placed. But I just want to come back to D2CL. Have you seen what item he's built?
A Mask of Madness.
Now, this is an item that we're seeing on heroes like Spectre. It's 1-1 so far. But we're seeing it on Spectre when you're behind or when you want to just farm your jungle or something like that. Spectre can sometimes fight early with it, but I'm not sure if D2CL is going to be planning on that. But it's such a great cost-effective, early accessible item that means you can just push it lane. It's basically like a Vlad's on steroids. Gives you lifesteal, gives you attack speed, you can just rip through the jungle. And then you can also maybe run into Empire and take a couple of them down.
Yeah, although that said, if you're going to use the Mask of Madness near Empire on 900 HP PL, you're going to trouble mid. Aloha Dance might be in... Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, there's no might be about that. King R really making the most of this Lion. His movements have been pretty spot on. Every time I've seen him, he's going in for a kill, finding the openings and helping out the rest of his team to take down a couple of members of Empire. There's the blink up on SF, so they've got the... they've got some form of initiation now. You know, Lion's been doing a lot of that work with the heavy lifting. Needs a blink of his own. Oh, the epicenter in, catches 2. Bow strike as well. Overgrowth not going to get thrown out as Akashi. Magic Missile will finish him. J4 with a late overgrowth heading straight into his Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, but that's... Again, this is like exactly the kind of thing PR can't afford to happen in this game. It's a game where they've gone behind a bit early on, and Brood already is not... You know, Brood's a hero that wants to go ahead early and then control your movement from there. And he's doing all he can to like try and control their movements reactively now. But it's not where he wants to be. And on top of that, yeah, they don't want the Shadow Fiend to be dying. Mid-tower actually deniable there. Empire choose not to deny it. And look at D2CL with his Mask of Madness pushing so deep in that top lane.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. He's gone so far up. Silent does come up here to tell him, get back a little bit. We don't want you pulling your shenanigans up here. Right, Aloha Dance still has a mech of his own on this support. Undying. Always want to fly with the phase boots. What do you feel about this? Because we've seen players like FY and Faith, I believe, do this quite a lot. In Europe, it's starting to become a thing. Vengeful Spirit with phase boots. Her movement speed is decent to begin with, but the attack damage it gives you really does make you a viable right-clicker in the mid-game. Is that the main reason? Well, before that,
yeah.
The Orchid down, always on a fly. Silent stops. Cheshire Cat now is fighting, but into the stun there. Undying drops his tombstone. Resolution gonna drop with one more raise. Akashi, Requiem winds it up. Not really gonna hit onto too much, but Empire get 2 heroes dropped. And now they'll take down the tombstone with Ditchira's help running in there. Phantom Rush, max movement speed. Mask of Madness giving him a nice little red effect. That's one thing that we didn't really point out. That it's gonna be quite obvious which illusion is going to be real if Ditchira does pop the Mask of Madness.
Yeah, but again, he probably doesn't want to pop it too much in fights. If they're fair fights, he'll pop it in fights where they know they're ahead. Yoki hiding back here, looking to sneak up on someone. I'm not sure who. And Silent will run into Ditchira. He's just used his blink. He might be in a little bit of trouble.
Oh man, one more lance. 3 seconds time. Silent blinks across, and he's fine for now.
But yeah, that Vengeful Spirit points, I think the phase boots is mostly about the move speed. It's wanting that extra bit of burst of move speed to catch the stun or the swap. Especially the swap. If you don't have the level 2 swap early on to actually get those defensive swaps, you need the move speed. And
there we go.
They're gonna catch Shadow Fiend.
Wave into stun. Epicenter as well. Living Armor though, keeping him alive for now. One more hit. There we go. Always want to fly. Phase boots paying off.
And as we discussed in the draft, the action in this game just seems to never be ending. Fights after fights after fights after fights.
Yeah, what is it? 11 to 13, 18 minutes in. It's about a kill per minute. Bot lane, Yoki into the Spiderlings. Money, 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 money. Free gold for Yoki. Cheshire Cat gonna wish he hadn't, because Yoki now up to 1500 gold on top of Arcane's Blink and Vanguard. Do you consider finishing Crimson here? You know, against the Broodmother, against the PL. There's plenty of illusions and minions and all these tiny little crappy things hitting at you.
I think he might after his 4-star. But he's gonna get the 4-star first, and in the meantime his team's just getting another free rush really quickly. By the way, Silence picked up his Orchid now as well, and that's one item that might make Ditchira regret his choice. Though actually Ditchira very close to the Diff Blade, in which case if he gets Orchided he'll have a direct response to it available.
Okay. Well, we'll see what he manages to do. Resolution, we've got the lifesteal up on him, Sanjin Yasha as well, so he went for the triple Wraithband build actually. Oh, they're only 1.26. Okay, Cart, only. We've seen games go like 3 and 3 20 minutes in. There's been some really low kill games over in China, like VP game. You know, some of the games have been a little bit quiet, but yeah, this is CIS Dota. Queen of Pain actually finds a kill up on top lane. I'm just watching through the push. Resolution, Aloha Dance and Yoki. How do you stop this? Broodmother's not here. She's not prepped. The TP's coming in. Cheshire Cat looking for an opening, but I don't know. Silence onto Yoki to start things off. The Gust back now. Tombstone dropped. Requiem onto Resolution, but it's not going to do too much damage. Aloha Dance pops the mech. Stunned up and will get taken out. Yoki not going back in. Yoki not going back in, but the Shadow Fiend is still losing a lot of his HP. There we go. The 4-man power strike from Yoki on the Sand King. King R. One more Frost Arrow. One more Frost Arrow puts him in the region of death as J4. Okay, there's another good Orchid. Cheshire Cat just making sure Yoki cannot make the plays. Silent. Silent. The invis J4, they still get him.
Yeah, the Aegis doing so much work there. I feel like Drow Ranger can go down once if Power Rangers are willing to throw everything at him, but because they see the Aegis, they have to let the Drow stay up with the aura, with the damage, and just DPS them down. And PL's now back alive. He's got his Diff Blade. He won't just die to the Orchid like he did right before that fight started. But at the same time,
they're going in for this. Silent now, but a good burst strike in. They don't catch Ditchira. He turns back with a Diff Blade. Will finish off the Queen of Pain with the help of that Orchid. Soul burn, but Resolution and Yoki. They're here.
That's the thoughts I was trying to finish. You know, the PL's there, he's got his Diff Blade, but like, what can they do? Can they really take that fight and Empire answer for us? They definitely can't. It's just another set of kills going Empire's way and a tower.
And go in 2 versus 3. Resolution still has Aegis Immortal. BKB is nearly finished. Up on top lane, what have we got? The blink in, short range raise. There's no stun, there's no Yules, there's nothing here. He can try, but he will not succeed. And Sunlight had a very good early start. His other progression was pretty damn good. But look at where he is now. Sand King, Drought, Queen of Pain, they're all ahead of him. Sure, you've got the Broodmother sitting just behind the Shadow Fiend, but Phantom Lancer, Phantom Lancer, Phantom Lancer, with no BOTs, with no Manta, with nothing to really jump him around the map and make him that nuisance that he definitely can be. But Broodmother's been in that role. Broodmother has been the hero that's being a nuisance. Phantom Lancer has been sort of sitting there thinking, well, I want to farm and I want to fight. Cheshire Cat cancels his TP. I guess he was heading towards mid and thought better of it.
Yeah, the issue is that the Broodmother with auto farm, just the hero, doesn't interact very well with a group up push strategy. It's, you know, it's not designed for that. It's meant to be able to split push, and it's not been able to get into that position too often after the lane stage.
King R has no mana left. Yoki could potentially look to turn things around in a little bit here. Queen of Pain somehow found a kill again on the SF up at top with the help of Orchid and Drums. Looks like it's a little bit too much firepower for Sunlight.
Yeah, he was trying to do some split pushing of his own while the Brood wasn't able to be there, but again, the issue is that, firstly, there's catch. There's like a Sand King and Queen of Pain to catch you out if you are split pushing alone. But secondly, I think the speed at which Empire push with that Draw aura and the Venge aura just makes it really difficult to try and split push to handle them. You need to be able to take them on. But PL doesn't have the farm and Brood's just not the right hero. So it's up to the other three, the Shadow Fiend, the Lion, and the Treant to really like get great usage of their spells to win a fight.
Like, when you look at where the Broodmother is right now, that's where the PL should be. This is where the PL should be farming. Actually, Empire just say, screw it, we're going up high ground. You've got one hero off on a side lane. Phantom Lancer is not the best base defender. Who is a good base defender here? The Shadow Fiend and Treant? There's no one really that can just stop the waves being cleared, stop Resolution from standing high ground and ripping apart their racks. The base dismantling has begun. As Empire now, if they had a gem, if they had a sentry that's CJ4, their movement kind of indicates they know where he is, but I don't know. Sonda does actually go for the Blink Scream now. Overgrowth, always want to fly. Is that really your target? Is that the catch? Blink forward, King R stun out. And now Sunlight. I'm not sure about this. Silent blinks back in. They secure the... Oh, okay, they secure the swap onto J4 actually. He gets put into danger.
This is something Empire's been very good at recently. The same thing happened in that game 3 of the MLG finals where they had a similar kind of draft here when the lanes group up and push, and you know, sure, sometimes they overextend and take too many risks and get punished for it, but when there's a chance for them to go high ground and get Raxes, they just do it. They're not a team that like says, let's be careful, let's go back, let's wait. They just do it.
I think with Treant dead, Yoki here, oh, he's looking for the kill. I thought he was just going to stop the TP or something like that. Cool Stick Finale applied, and now Cheshire Cat dropping very low, but Yoki doesn't have quite enough. As bot lane of Rax falling, Cheshire Cat now TPs himself back. I thought Yoki was sitting there thinking, okay, if Brood TPs to try and defend or tries to fight, I'll be here for the stop. But instead, he goes in for the kill and, you know, just misses out on it.
Yeah, and suddenly a game where, sure, the kill score was going back and forth for a really long time. We said that Empire were actually in control all along, and they've demonstrated it very, very clearly after getting that second rush, now getting two sides of Raxes. Suddenly a game that looks like it's on the brink of ending. One more good fight for Empire, and you know, I don't think D2CL is going to get the time he wants to farm 2, maybe 3 more items. He's going to have to be ready to take that next fight, and it's difficult to see how they actually smoke up. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Power Rangers just smoke up. We need a pick off. It's not that easy for us to just 5v5 them, so let's try and kill someone before a fight starts.
Desperation move. Like, if this goes wrong, I wouldn't be surprised to just see the GG. Because right now they're dealing with 2 lanes of super creeps, and if they didn't have the heroes to defend the push in from Empire, how do they defend up against super creeps and Empire's heroes? The Radiant Courier dies with nothing on it. They head through the Radiant jungle, the Dire jungle, but they're not going to find anything.
The Lion needs to catch it. He catches Resolution.
They get Resolution stunning from Yoki. King R now taking a lot of damage. Resolution pops the BKB, turns and fights. Finger of Death down onto someone I didn't quite catch. A swap back. PL Illusions are chasing, but they're not going to get it. Always want to fly down the target with a huge sonic wave from Silent, ripping apart PR one by one, and down they go. Empire with a full team wipe, only losing the Venge. Resolution with about 50 HP manages to get himself out of there, but this has got to be Power Rangers tapping out. Yeah. GG, well played, it's called, guys. And that's game 1 for you in this best of 3 in the D2CL playoffs to get that LAN final spot.
And Yoki with the victory epicenter right at the end. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say before that fight broke out. All the BKBs they had up meant that it wasn't even possible for PR to get the pick off they wanted. They didn't have the time to do it. And yeah, Empire closed out the game really, really quickly with a surprisingly powerful push. converted straight from dominant lanes. So let's see what the next game has to bring us.
Yeah, exactly, guys. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with game number 2 here in the best of 3 between Team Empire and Power Rangers. I've been Durka, joining me Scant. See you guys soon. Don't go anywhere.